In this video, we are going to write our first code with a command button. Go ahead and open your Developer tab. Inside the Developer tab, you should have form controls. Some of the form controls would be button, checkbox, radio button, list box, scroll bar, etc. So we're going to click button, and you can see that button is now selected. To place a button on your spreadsheet, click and drag to get the button size that you desire. I'll go ahead and make a pretty big button so you can see. As soon as you place the button, an assigned macro window will pop up. A macro is simply a group of code that's related to a certain task. So in this instance, the macro name will be button1 underscore click. So this is saying that when the button is clicked, something's going to happen, and that's what we're going to write. So go ahead and press new. So leave the name as button1 underscore click and press new. Once you press that, your editor will pop up with the Project Explorer window, which is the window on the far left, and your code window. I'm going to make the font in the code window a little bit bigger so you can see. So click on the Workbook 1-Module 1, Preferences, click Editor Format, and this is where we'll change the font. I'm just going to make it bigger for you to see. I believe the original size is usually 14, so I'm going to go up to 24. I'm going to leave it as the normal text and press OK. So now you can see that it's a little bit easier to read on the video. I want this window extended out, so this is our main focal point. So I'm going to click Window and Tile horizontally. You see that in the module, which the module is the area where the code is written. So in this module, there's already a procedure laid out for us. A procedure is just a series of statements that tell Excel what we want to do. There's basically two different kinds of procedures, a sub procedure and the function procedure. What we're going to use for the button is a sub procedure. So we're going to say sub, and then remember button1 underscore click was what we named the button when it is clicked, and then end sub. When the button is clicked, what we want to happen will be in between the sub and the end sub. There are two different ways to write comments within the VBA code. One way is by using a single quote mark and then typing whatever you have to say afterwards. So this will display numbers in specific cells. When you press enter or return, your comment will turn green. A comment is basically something that the programmer can use to read to help remember specific things within the code. Comments are ignored when running the macro, solely for the programmer to read and interpret. Another way to write a comment is REM, and then whatever you want to write afterwards, blah, blah, blah. Comment this, etc. So a single quote, or rem, acknowledges a comment. So as I said for the comment, this will display numbers in a specific cell, or in specific cells. So when this button is clicked, numbers will appear in cells. So in order to get a value to appear in a cell, we're going to have to specify the range. So type range, and then a quotation mark, and we're going to set the range to be one cell to start. So we're going to say C5. Within this range, we want a value. So that is going to be dot or period, and then value. And the value is going to be assigned or equal to a specific number. So let's make that number 100. So now, when the button is clicked, in cell C5, the value is going to be 100. Let's go back into Excel, click off of the button so that it is no longer selected, and now when you hover the button, you will see a hand or a pointer finger. Go ahead and click the button, and now in cell C5, 100 is the value that appears. If we wanted to change that value, just select Editor. If the module doesn't open up right away, double-click Module, and just change the value from 100 to 50. When we go back into our workbook, when you select the button, that cell will change from 100 to 50. Now let's change a couple features on the button itself. Right-click the button and click Edit Text. Now you may type and change the name of the button. So let's just say click here. So that instructs the user of the program to click. Unfortunately, click here is very small and hard to read. So in order to change that, we're going to right-click again, and we're going to highlight the text, right-click again, and go to Format Control. Within Format Control, we are able to change the size of the text. So let's make this text that says click here, size 36. We can make it bold. You can also change the font if you desire, or the color. Click OK, and now click here is easier to read.